Alright, I got this stabilized Koa gonna make a few pins out of, and it's probably gonna look pretty spiffy. I like that. But I got some of these Simline pins I get, so we're gonna go ahead and get them cut and tubed and get them ready to turn. Alright, now with these tubes, you seen me do it before. All these brass tubes, they just gotta be, they're pretty shiny, so you just gotta take some emery cloth. I use 150. Just rough it up some. That'll help the CA glue hold on to it better. And once you get that done, you get out your, I use medium for just about everything. Now this was a little thick. I let it set up for a while. I was gone working, wasn't making pins for a while, and in order to, it got thickened up on me some just from setting up, so I took some thin and added to it. So I think this is a little bit thinner than what the normal thick is, but it still works good for this, and it gives me a good finish as well when I do the CA glue finish. But this wood I got when I was over in Maui, it turned out pretty good. It was a piece of that Koa, that just a firewood sized piece that I stuck in we was working over there, so I stuck it in a tool unit. Didn't have to pay to get it shipped to the house, because when it got back here, then I was able to get it out of the knack box. So cut it all up myself. It had a little bit of spalting in it. Had some soft spots in it because it was starting to rot. Well, and if you know anything about the regulations on Koa, it's, you got to have a act of Congress in order to cut up a live Koa tree. So, but this was dying, and so evidently I got one of the pieces that was spalting some, which gives it a cool look. I just had to stabilize it real good in order for it to really work out. And you can see how my end kind of pushed off on here. My drill bit pushed out on this one. But that's okay, I'll fill it up with glue and she'll be just right. Anyway, this Koa has, like I say, it has some of the punky stuff in it. Has some of the curly stuff in it. And seeing as it's kind of punky, I'm getting a discoloration throughout, so it's just turned out to be an awesome wood. If you ever over in Maui looking for some wood, look up a feller on Marketplace, name of Jay. I can't remember. I don't want to butcher up his last name, but name of Jay. He's got him a sawmill over there, and that's who I got my wood from. And he gave me a pretty good price, I believe. And he was happy because he didn't have to ship it, because I was taking it back with me. I even had some smaller pieces I was able to stick in my luggage on the way home and go through the airport. I imagine they thought something on that scanner when they seen it, but it was perfectly legal. I thoroughly enjoyed this, and this has been a wonderful wood. Say the color in it and the workability of it and the popularity of it. There we go. Okay, y'all seen this here. I've had a few blowouts with it before and just had it happen again. And I don't know, I guess it just depends on the wood, but I guess it's because I have such a large cutting surface there, and I have a little bit of play in my my handle, so I can't hold it real smooth and wants to grab too much, and when it does, sometimes that happens. So like I say, I don't know if it's that old drill press or if it's just a poor design, but anyway, to repair it, I'm going to try and salvage it with my super glue. And I know that fits like so. I'm getting some glue on it. And I'm going to use this glue pretty liberally. Trying to do this and looking through the camera and around the camera is a little difficult, so just please bear with me. And then I'm going to put it all over this way. And we'll take this piece and just try and line up the end as much as possible. Fill in the gap. There we go. Snapped into place. I got one of these spring clips here. I'll put that on there here in the middle. There we go. Now we got glue pushing out everywhere. So I'll let that sit up. And I'll have to mill the end of it with that smaller one, like I did here. Just touch it off, make sure everything's flush before I turn it. But we'll see you then. All right. It's been setting up a couple days. I got tied up on something else. That looks pretty good. Take it over and touch up the ends and we'll see how it looks. All right, I got a kind of a hole there. I got me a pinch of dust. See how well this works. That's off my drill. Put some in there. Hit it with my glue. Fill that one in. And we'll let that sit right there for a few minutes while I turn another one. And I'll work it again. Alright, with this Odie's oil, I usually like to put it on pretty thick. I got a little punky spot and one of these, this piece here. Normally if it's a little punky, I'll go ahead and use the super glue, but well, I'm just going to try it this way, see how I like it. And this is just a piece of very fine white Scotch-Brite that I cut up in small squares for this, and you just want to rub it in the grain. Just kind of work it in that grain as best you can. And once it's in there, we're just going to let it sit for about 10 minutes and we'll come back to it. Alright, it's been 10 minutes or more. And you just rub it clean and buff it all off. Make a pretty pen. All right, let's try this one here. These little Simline kits. I've gotten them from a couple different people, and they all go together pretty much the same. So I get these straight from China. It's cheaper that way, as long as you order enough to pay for the extra shipping costs. I hadn't ordered any in this past year, because usually when I order them, I order several hundred at a time. That way I won't have to order too much. But we're going to put this one down here. Well, you can see that and feel that. All right. And you put into about that tip there. If all else fails, stop short. Because if you go too deep, you're going to tear something up half the time trying to get it out. So usually I stop a little short there. And I take my piece and see what that is, a little short. So we'll just go a hair further. Usually if you just stick your finger right there when you're pushing it, you can tell when it moves if your eyeballs ain't as well, and that looks pretty good. Well, we got that, and yes, got to make sure my grain's still going right. And you take this one. Get all the plastic off of it. You don't get the plastic off of it before you press it. Seems like you never get it out of there. And that's a pretty pen there. Now, some people like better the super glue finish, and some people like the wood feel better. I like both of them. It's just a matter of preference for the individual. But while that Odie's oil was setting up, I come back and milled that piece, and it looks good. Now, anytime I do these 7mm, they leave a little lip, or some of them I had chatter, and y'all seen that. So you just take a drill bit and put it around there. Now I clean off that little burr. They can tend to build up on there. All right, now we're gonna turn this one. Okay. Now, you see all the little holes in there. Now you know why it's busted, and that's filled with super glue, looks like, but it's still, I don't know, you can see the brass in there, but it's still gonna be unique. I don't care what people say. But we're gonna take, before I get it finished, fill in these holes and all this grain with super glue. And you just take your finger and rub it in real good. Now fill in any of the small cracks. We're going to do this on both sides. And I use the medium for this, and it'll fill in them spots like that. And we're going to turn this real rough spot up. Just add a little more. And then I'm just going to turn off the camera and walk away for a while, and I'll come back in an hour or so and take a look at it. I'll let that just soak into that wood best it can and start curing. Okay, well, I just seen where I missed pushing a button or something. You can see in the end there and here. But I got it, both of them turned down. We're gonna stick them back on here and put a super glue finish on here. You can still see that there. We're gonna finish her out and see what it looks like. Okay, now I'm still not happy with this right here. That's just a hole in the super glue. But I'm gonna leave it that way. This may end up being one of my freebies I give away, I don't know. I may just use it myself. I'm gonna go ahead and build it. Alright, here's these 3 Hawaiian Koa pins. This is the one that has the, there it is, that was cracked. Now if I would have been able to fill up that groove good, it would have turned out great. But either way, it's still a beautiful pin. So I'm gonna put it in there to sell. Somebody will want that, I know. This is the first one I did, and this is with Odie's oil. And it just has a kind of a luster to it, but it's a real good protectant. And it's real easy to install, but you can see the little bit of the punky wood and the better wood, and then you get to the last one that I didn't get on video turning, but it has a lot of that curly Koa in it. It has curly and punky, and it turned out real good, and that there is with the CA glue. So just these Koa wood pins, that's why I like to get them a chunk of wood and cut it up myself, because you get all different styles of wood grain in there. But anyway, just give me a thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't, and leave me a comment. Let me know what I can do better, or if you need anything. I will catch you on the next one. Later.